and I have a very quick video for you guys today. I figured I would just do an overview of my kayak and what I have on it right now and what I'm going to be putting on it, and just the basics of what you would need to start out and go kayak fishing. So stay tuned. Hope you enjoy. This is my setup. It's an Ascend 12T. It's the Bass Pro Shops brand, I believe. I got this one for $650. That's with nothing on it. The seat was with it. Doesn't come with a paddle or anything, but it's a good kayak. I recommend buying a good paddle anyway, because having a good flotation device and paddle are key to, well, if you're gonna trust it the most, considering that you use the paddle the most and you're gonna trust a flotation device, it's okay to spend a little bit of money on that. So I understand why they didn't put it in there, because they want you to get the best quality one. And that really brings down the price of the kayak. Otherwise, this kayak could be about an $800 kayak with a paddle included. So, but anywho, this is my fish finder. It's a Humminbird Helix 5 with a GPS built into it, side imaging. I like the side imaging because I can do my down imaging and my side imaging off the sides of the boat, and it's really nice. Where I put it is perfect, because when you're standing in this thing, and you can stand up and fish from this, I can adjust this and look down at it, and I can cast wherever I know that cover is, and I can cast and I can hit it several times, and I won't have to worry about anything. I really like this kayak for its storage. As you can see, I have 3 large boxes in here, 3 smaller ones. Normally I'll put the smaller ones underneath there and I'll have 3 bigger boxes in here, but for now, that's all I have. Normally I'll have something strapped over this so none of this stuff falls out, but these are my plastics. I keep them on the sides in bags. And I got that milk crate off of Amazon. I recommend getting a milk crate and then buying these separate instead of getting a kit for $70. I think it cost me $28 to build that crate. Not anything in it, just the crate, and I have more rod holders. I don't have them on there right now. I don't have them set up because I'm only running 4 rods, but I have more rods coming in the mail. So anyway, so I would recommend, Yak Attack sells them and stuff like that. It's a rod crate or a tackle crate, and they run about $70. I'm not ripping on them or anything, but you can build it a lot cheaper if you order it off Amazon. You can. That milk crate was made in the U.S. These were made in the U.S. as well, but I painted them, and I've used those a couple on my other kayak as well. So they're a little beat up, whatever, cool. But no, the Ascend 12T, good kayak overall. It's got a dry storage here, water bottle storage. It's getting dark, as you can see. This, I like to put my plastics in there. Sometimes if I'm just switching, I like to put boxes in there, but do not leave them in there, because if it rains and you get water on here, it will get wet. I promise you it will get wet. But it's water resistant. I was out in the rain all day and water didn't get in there, but as soon as I left this thing out overnight, water got in there. I don't know where, but it got in there. But it was downpouring. I'm in Georgia, so you know it's always wet. But and then for my transducer mount, I just have a Scotty mount. It was cheaper, so I really like the way this mount works, and it's nice. I can unscrew it and I can flip it up whenever I'm not using it, flip it inside of the boat. And when I cover the boat up, if this stays in here, this kind of holds it up and it keeps the water from building into the tarp, so that's kind of nice. But most of the time, if I'm not using it, I'll take it off. I have a ram mount that holds on my Humminbird. See how it's hooked up here? It's just hooked up to a ram mount. Super easy, super simple. I just unscrew it and take it off when I'm not using it. And then I'll run my batteries right here in this little crack, and then I'll run it underneath my seat into my battery box. I don't like drilling holes in a kayak. I've only drilled these 4 holes to mount it, and that's it. I do not like drilling holes in a kayak. But another key thing, people will put anchor trolleys on. Yeah, anchor trolleys are great for brackish water and stuff, but if you're fishing freshwater and you're really only fighting the wind and maybe a little current, I recommend getting a front-mounted anchor system. I like the way my Anchor system runs in the front. Me being a smaller dude, like 160 pounds, I can lean up there and pull my anchor in. But I have a front mounted system that's going to be running from here all the way back. Actually, it's going to go along this side, and it's going to go all the way back to right about here. And all I got to do is I'll have the anchor line in my lap, and I'll just pull on it when I want to pull the anchor up, and then I'll tie it back there. I'll have a cleat to tie it off of. I'm actually going to be raising this seat. So my seat's going to be sitting up about 4 inches higher. It's going to be sitting up here. And then I'm going to have tackle storage underneath there, and that's where I'll tie the cleat off to. I'll actually tie it to my mount on my seat. But that's pretty much it. This kayak's really simple. Has tons of storage space. Like, I can put a backpack with whatever I want in the back of there. I can have a backpack up front, but I mostly keep my anchor up there. But yeah, overall, this kayak it's pretty great. 12 foot long, weighs about 80 pounds, which is fine. I can lift it by myself, no problem. But yeah, if you're looking for a good setup, I think I've spent, not including the hummingbird and the mount, I think I spent about $700 to outfit this with the battery box, the Scotty mount, that back there, not including the tackle, but the case is included. I think I spent about $800 in total with a flotation device and a paddle. So that's pretty good. I spent about $100 on a paddle because I didn't want to skimp on that. I got a bigger paddle because I like to stand up and paddle. So I wanted to be able to stand up and paddle instead of having to lean over and paddle with that thing. That's my backup paddle. And then I also have a push stick here. And it's like an anchor stick. So if I'm in some shallow water and I want to anchor off, I just push this into the water and it keeps me pretty stable. I will be putting an anchor trolley on this eventually. I will be putting a trolling motor on this eventually, but for now, this is all you really need to get into kayak fishing. You need a couple rods, maybe a milk crate, and a good flotation device and paddle. I cannot stress that enough, because if you break a paddle and you're on the river, you're screwed. You're really screwed. I've already put a bend in that one when I took it out on the river. So my advice to you guys is don't skimp on a paddle, and do not skimp on a flotation device. I think I spent $60 on this, and it's super nice. I wear it all day and it's comfortable. And when I'm not using it, I just shove it in the milk crate along with my measuring device for my tournament fishing. I just put it in my milk crate and it's good to go. But I also have a tarp that covers this thing, which is really nice because the sun out here will eat this paint away and it will screw these kayaks up. So I encourage you, take care of your things. I encourage you cover your kayak and just wash it when you're done using it. I wash this thing at least once a week. I'll wipe it down with a car cleaner, like an Armor All. Just get all the dirt and sand out of it. I clean these out. I try to drain all the water out of it, which is easy because I just lean it up against the house. I just pick it up, lean it up against the house, and then it drains. So yeah, overall, good kayak. I can't wait to use that hummingbird. I haven't used it yet, but yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed, and hope I gave you some ideas on how to outfit your kayak. I mean, another tip I can give you guys is to lock this down. All you got to do, boom, locked into place now. It'll slide around a little bit, but it ain't going nowhere. Simple as that. I also have straps on the side right here that you can run straps over. But yeah, thanks for watching my video. Stay tuned. I'm gonna get some fishing clips. Quick side note, guys. So I said that's what you would need to kayak fish, but in all reality, there's 3 things you need: a good kayak and paddle, a reliable kayak and paddle, I should say. Do not skimp on a paddle. Just like do not skimp on a life preserver, which is another thing you need. You do need a good life preserver, something that's comfortable. Do not skimp on it, because if that life preserver is not comfortable, you're going to end up taking it off, and then why even have it in the first place? Because if you fall in, I promise you, the way kayaks work, if you fall into the water, that kayak's going to get pushed away from you, and you're going to have to swim to it. And who knows, you smack your head on a branch, or you faint in a kayak, and then you fall into the water, you're going to want a life preserver. Either get one that you have to inflate by pulling it, or just a regular, good, comfortable life preserver. And make sure that the pad on the back of the life preserver, the way you wear it, make sure it clears the seat behind you. Otherwise, it's not going to be comfortable, and then you're going to end up taking it off. Those are just some key advices. And then a good rod and reel would be good. And a rod leash, I would recommend leashing your rod, because if you drop it in the water, goodbye. You're not going to see it again. You can jig for it all day, but you might not get it. But you don't need a whole lot. A good kayak you could buy. I think I bought my first kayak for $350. It was brand new, and it was kind of nicer. It already came with rod holders. It came with a dry storage space, a good seat, and it was a sit on top. It was a Pelican 120, or no, it was a Pelican Castaway 100. But you can get, it's a 10-footer, and you can get them for pretty cheap. You can go to Dick's and you can buy a $200 kayak, and you can have a blast with it. I wouldn't recommend standing up in it and fishing from it. From a natural position as a bass fisherman on a bass boat, I like standing up, so that's why I spent a little extra money. And plus, I use this thing almost every day. I wake up in the morning and check on it, make sure it's there, and then I go to work, and that's pretty much it. Sometimes I even bring it to work with me, because next thing you know, I get sent home early because they don't have any work for us, and I go fishing. That's just what I do. That's just who I am as a person. In my opinion, I think spending an extra $300 on a kayak was a good decision. That's just me, though. But in all reality, you can if you want to get your feet wet, get a Pelican or a Lifetime or just a cheap kayak. But just realize, if you like the sport and you end up liking it, you're gonna have to buy another kayak anyway. You could probably wait a couple years or whatever, but I bought mine the next year. I was like, I'm getting a new kayak. And I kept the same one. I had two kayaks. I had the Pelican, and then I had another Pelican. It was a sit inside. It was like a lime green, just a regular kayak. What you would see as a kayak, it's a sit inside. Like, you put your feet inside it and you're inside the kayak. I sold that for like $260 because it had minimal use on it. And then I kept my other one because I already outrigged it with I rigged it up with an anchor trolley and all the good stuff. So I kept it. That's my lighter setup. That weighs about 45 pounds. That one I can carry through the woods all day. I have a couple of really good spots that I go to that you have to carry a kayak like that. You have to pick it up and trudge through the woods with it. That's just how you do it. You go back there with a small box of tackle and a backpack, and you go. That's if you're looking to get back to some really tight spots, a good small kayak like that is perfect. It's a 10-footer, weighs about 45 pounds dry weight, no gear in it, nothing. And it came with rod holders and stuff, and it was good. It was outfitted. It was all ready to go. I fished in it the day I bought it. So, but if you want to go to the tournaments and you want to you're going to like the sport and you're going to be into it. And who knows, you don't even have to fish in tournaments to have a nice kayak. But if you're going to like the sport, then spend the $600. Spend more than that. But I'm telling you right now, for $650, that is the best kayak I've ever. I've sat in some nice kayaks. I've sat in some pedaling kayaks, and I'm a paddle guy. I like to hand paddle, not foot paddle. I like to hand paddle. I know people have their reasons, but it's natural for me. I'm used to it, so that's what I stick to. But you can go all out. There's a lot you can do with a kayak, but in my opinion, you can kayak fish with a $200 kayak, a rod, a reel, and a good paddle. Make sure you have a good flotation device. That's common sense, because if you fall in, I can swim, you'd think so, but you'd be surprised. If you're in some of them quick rivers, you're gonna drown. Do not skimp on a flotation device. Get a good paddle, because if it breaks and you're in the river, you're screwed. You're definitely screwed if you're going along and all of a sudden snap. Oh crap! Now I have two paddles, and then you're sitting there with one on each side, and it's not going to be a fun time. So it's my advice to you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Comment down below what what you would like on a kayak and what you look for, and maybe I can give you some options, because I have a vast knowledge of types of kayaks that are out there, because I did my research when I bought mine. So if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. I'll answer them. But thank you guys. Have a good night.